Hi, it's Rachel with Stirring the Deep. So in the previous video, I was talking about how it's really about being partakers of the divine character of God. That's what we're seeking. That's what's to be someone after God's heart. That's when you're communing with God in that stillness, in those mindful meditations, in those reflective times in the morning. That's what you're doing. You're wanting to learn of his divine character. Like what are those attributes? What do they mean? How is that expressed in you and in your life? And in that understanding, you start becoming a partaker of that divine character. Okay? And a very central part of that process is going through godly sorrow. And that is, well, let me read these verses first to you from 2 Corinthians, starting in it's chapter 7, verse 8. For even if I made you sorry with my letter, I do not regret it, though I did regret it, for I perceive that the same epistle made you sorry, though only for a while. Now I rejoice, not that you were made sorry, but that your sorrow led to repentance. For you were made sorry in a godly manner, that you might suffer loss from us in nothing. For godly sorrow produces repentance, leading to salvation, not to be regretted, but the sorrow of the world produces death. If you are in sorrow in your spirit and it's not in connection to this learning of the divine nature, it just takes you into depression. It takes you into endless discouragement and frustration. It feels like a prison. But when you are looking to that light in your soul, that's that seed that Christ put in the death realm. Okay? Our souls are the bottomless pit. Because in them, when they are headed toward darkness, which is that blindness, unawareness of that we are creating just our own affliction and pain and death, it's just, that's what it is. And that's even what it feels like. It's a pit, it's a bottomless pit, it's a prison. Okay? And it's all the lies that create the prison bars that keep us there. This is what Christ did. He went into that realm, that death realm that we're all in, that we're all connected to each other in that. Okay? He infused, remember that tree, through the tree of life in the waters. He came into the waters, us, we're waters. And in that, there is now a light. And so now, if you look within yourself, you have to go deep within yourself, and you realize there is a light there. It's just a small flicker. That's how it starts. It's a seed. But if you will look into that light, you will grow by it until that light becomes all you see in your soul. And it turns you from this bottomless pit, when you start moving into the light, into everlasting life. That's the change. It's the light within you. Okay? How you grow by that light is by this godly sorrow. So that light, however small, will show in your life, this is the way you should go, not this way. So you will see when you start looking at that light, it's sometimes that you will start seeing your own character, and because you'll start seeing the purity of this character. It'll show you some character trait. Okay, so for example, maybe hypocrisy. And in that light, when you look into that light, you'll start seeing your own hypocrisy. And when you realize the harm, the damage that hypocrisy creates, when you really feel that too, it is a gut-wrenching, it feels like burning in your soul. That is the godly sorrow. The godly sorrow is that it's a tool of God to purge away everything that's not of Him. And it is like a burning fire. That's what it feels like. But when you take that godly sorrow and realize that is what's created in you so that you will leave. Because when you really see something and you feel that and you feel the hurt, you feel the pain, you don't want it anymore. You turn from it. Right? When you realize something is damaging and hurtful and you see it for what it is, you no longer desire it. You no longer want to walk that way. You want to go a new way. God's like, great. Because then you turn, that's repentance, and you start walking in God's way, which is, He says, have no hypocrisy. So you start purging just your ways of acting, the ways of being that are full of hypocrisy. And it comes out of this power to do that because that truth is being knit in you and guiding you. That's causing, remember, the chain reaction, which is your thoughts, your desires, your words, your actions. So your thoughts and your desires start changing to not be of, not wanting to feed anything of hypocrisy. And that comes from that element of that light revealing the character. Because within yourself, that's where you see your character. But that's also where you really start seeing the clarity of God's character. And that godly sorrow is very important to experience. And that's what you do. So you experience it and you turn from it and you start walking in this way. And it brings joy. Because that whole experience, the sorrow that you felt, all of that, the burning, but when you come out on the other side, you've grown. You've bloomed in that area of your life, and now that area of your life is producing life and love, and it's no longer producing the pain and the suffering. So you're going through this exchange process. So then He'll bring up another area in your life, and like maybe it's blame. So He shines the light on it. You realize how damaging and hurtful that is. You want to turn away from that. He shows you how to do that. And you start walking in His ways, which has that ripple effect. So it's this understanding and this learning that is triggered by the godly sorrow. Because how else do you know? You're going through your life. You're doing things. You're thinking certain ways. How do you know? This is how you know. Is you feel that in your spirit. And it feels like your heart is breaking because of what's coming out from you. That's good. You want your old heart, your old character to break because you don't want it to be governing or ruling or anything anymore. You want to be governed by God's heart, which is His character. And this is the process by which you do that, the process by which you grow. This is how you move to be a part of that divine character. And then what you find is that, because in this godly sorrow, I've already mentioned this, a place that you come to is this absolute realization that you cannot truly love, create harmony, do anything of these things that you desire on your own. You can't. So part of this process that you go through in learning and understanding is you start to learn of God's character and His ways and how He works with you, and you start to trust it. So you start obtaining a full trust because you know God. Trust is just the fruit of knowing Him. And this is knowing Him, is knowing His character. And when you know this within, when you see that beautiful nature being formed within you as you start connecting to Him, you start trusting Him. And when you start trusting God to do everything, every moment you want Him to establish it, to create it. You don't want to create your reality. You don't want to create what's happening in your world. You want God to create it, because the ultimate creation of your reality, of your experience, comes from that character. So you want that character to flow through you perfectly in every situation and create what is perfect in that present moment. And so what state are you in? Rest. You're in rest. That is all the branch does. The branch can't do anything on its own. A branch, all it can do is produce and bear fruit. But that is a beautiful thing that it gives us. I mean, the fruit of the tree, that is everything. But yet the branch, it isn't doing anything. It's just being the funnel. It's being the channel. And that's what we become, a partaker of the divine nature, connected to that. So it becomes this channel. And through that godly sorrow, all the things that prohibit that flow, that prohibit that from happening, is removed and purged by that fire. It's the refining fire happening within your soul that is just so magnificent and so powerful. Till next time, keep stirring the deep. It's the one thing that changes everything else.